I went to a Nazi rally as a black woman, and here I am living to tell the tale.
How many blacks are there in Leicester? Black. Oh yeah, as in what? Oh yeah.
Black people are fucking...
Who's going to say that to your face, especially when you're at the same event, supporting the same things as them?
Tommy Robinson and people like him are the blacklisted figures.
I saw her kissing him. Then she went back out to Romania to see him again.
I happen to have travel documents that directly disprove this claim.
People on the other side, even those who openly glorify and celebrate and justify violence,
Keir Starmer needs to be a...
I love you, Mary.
Why more people are backing the far right by Ada? I know nothing about this person. Yeah, let's have a look. Let's have a look. We're open-minded.
So around 2 weeks ago, central London witnessed something that the media could not ignore. More than 100,000 people gathered for Tommy
Okay, we're not saying a million. That's a good start.
Robinson's Unite the Kingdom rally. Some estimates put the figure closer to 150,000. Whatever the precise number, it was one of the largest political demonstrations Britain has seen for a while. And this comes despite, or perhaps because of, years of being vilified by the press, condemned by politicians, and dragged through courts. For some people...
So does this mean the left is going to have a massive renaissance in the US, considering what's going on there at the moment? The way that people are talking about like leftists at the moment.
Robinson is not simply a campaigner. He has become a symbol of defiance, of free speech, of a fight against an establishment that many believe lies to them. Now, you may not agree with him, you may not like his methods, his language, but it's undeniable that tens of thousands are listening, maybe many of you. Many are gathering, rallying, and many are refusing to be shamed into silence. So this raises a very important question that is worth asking. Why are people drawn to Tommy Robinson and others like him?
Because he appeals to their worst instincts, because he says things that people are already thinking. And the reason they're thinking that is, well, in some cases because they're racist, not all of them. People want affirmation. People want to hear that what they think is right, actually. And Tommy's one of those people. Happens on all sides of the aisle, for sure.
Why are so many people drawn to far-right messaging? Now, part of the answer lies in how these people are portrayed by the media versus what people actually believe they promote or stand for or at least fight for. The people who write the headlines and shape the news coverage, they assume that they can control the narrative forever using buzzwords and slogans that they think automatically turn people off. Neo-Nazi, nationalist, and so on. So they think all this will be enough to keep the
This is where we show like examples, like show different like headlines and stuff like this.
Public away. But that isn't how it works anymore. The point is this: people can now think for themselves.
People have always been able to think for themselves. You need someone like Tommy Robinson to help you think for yourself. You're not actually thinking for yourself. You're copying someone else.
People can see things for themselves. We live in an age where almost every rally, protest, or political moment is filmed from dozens of angles, live streamed and shared. So the media know.
Yeah. So when we see all these like actually undeniably racist people that show up to like hotel protests, literally just there to call all the brown people in the hotels pedos. It's filmed and we get to see it and we get to judge for ourselves. I love it. It's great.
I am here to destroy the traitorous ideas of demented, ugly lefties, defending sexually starved rapists.
No longer has a monopoly on the story, even though they still act like they do. They call Tommy Robinson a far-right nationalist and leave it as that. They describe his supporters as a mob. But when people go online and watch footage from the ground, or when they actually attend in person, they've seen something different. I went to the Unite the Kingdom march myself.
All right, I was gonna interject with something pertinent, but we'll just give her a chance to explain what she saw, and then we'll show something else just briefly.
I saw families, I saw non-white supporters, I saw ordinary men and women who also, by the way, saw me. No one spat on me, no one called me a monkey.
Well, no one's going to do that as long as you agree with them. They might think it. They're not going to do it when you're pushing for the same shit as them. Like for the so-called far right, now is not the time for division because they're not in power. So no one's going to call you anything.
No one tripped me over, smashed a bottle on my head. Yeah, I know it's hard to believe, right? I went to a Nazi rally as a black woman, and here I am living to tell the tale.
So I saw this recently. It's a guy called Nico Omilana. He went to this same rally, and some quite interesting stuff happened.
Who?
All the fucking Muslims, foreigners.
Go again. Frick off, yeah.
I think 900 mosques in Leicester.
Oh, absolutely outrageous.
900 mosques in Leicester. Take a wild guess whether that's in any way, shape or form true.
And how many blacks are there in Leicester? Black. Oh, yeah, as in what? Oh, yeah, that's
Just casually. It didn't take long, did it?
the word, sorry. Yeah. There's millions of them. I'm so glad that you're using the right terminology as well. Yeah. Because I'm tired of calling them the blacks. With all your friends and stuff, how do they feel about it?
Hate.
They hate it.
Funniest part is at one point he says something about black people. And there's one guy's like, wait, you can't say that. What have they done to you? Amazing. I'm not saying all these people are racist, far from it, but you have to be insane to think that it doesn't exist in these circles.
Guys, I just want to come out and say something, yeah? Don't judge me for this.
We're not going to judge you.
people, mate. We don't judge
You don't judge people?
No, I'm Geordie, man.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't like black people.
Nor do I. Nor do I.
So we're on the same page.
Fucking right. Black people are fucking...
But listen, guys,
Don't
like...
like black side, you know what I mean? Fuck them all, get them out of the country
Oh, well,
now.
yeah, fair.
This is a white country.
But yeah, like, I hope you understand what I mean. So someone like this can say, well, I went there and no one was mean to me. No one called me a monkey or whatever. That's fair enough. They probably didn't. I'm not saying that she's not telling the truth. But who's going to say that to your face? Especially when you're at the same event, supporting the same things as them. It's not going to happen. This is the video if you want to watch it. It's very interesting. It's quite funny.
I went to a Nazi rally as a black woman, and here I am living to tell the tale. In fact, instead of hate, I actually felt welcome. I felt people, I think, were even overcompensating. Like someone would bump into me a bit because it was crowded, and they would almost over apologize, almost like they want to show me that they weren't racist. Why on earth would a true racist care how I perceive them? And I'm not the only ethnic minority that reported feeling welcome.
Why would they care how you perceive them? Because you're on the same side as them. And they haven't achieved their goals yet. Very easily. Very simply.
Look around you. Look around you. What can you see?
I've seen you on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, I do YouTube.
Yeah. I've seen you, brother.
Thanks for the love. Woo, so much love out here. So much love. Listen, so...
But the media painted a completely different picture. And this is why trust in mainstream outlets has collapsed. Because people can see the selective editing, they can see the smears, they see the certain way that the narrative is pushed and reinforced.
We get any examples?
Over and over and over again. For example, quick tangent, look at how Charlie Kirk was presented to the world after his assassination. He was written off as far right in the press, even extreme.
Had they not been calling him far right beforehand? I mean, he was a Donald Trump shill. Plenty of people think Trump is far right. There's some good arguments for him being far right.
And yet thousands of people, including plenty who don't agree with every word he said, have sat down, watched hours of his content and drawn their own conclusions. What they found is that the media's portrayal was a manufactured image. And
maybe being against mass migration doesn't make you a racist. Not by default, no. That doesn't mean there's not racists in there. It's a mixture. And the people that aren't racist don't seem too fussed about the people that just show up to like hotel protests to call the brown people like pedos and stuff. So it is worth questioning. I'm not saying that any one person is racist because they're against mass migration.
An incomplete image, a black and white image designed to vilify. And when people keep seeing the media construct...
The problem is, when is it people doing this? And when is it people leveling fair and like honest critique of Charlie Kirk? Because people still have to be able to like criticize people that die, you know what I mean?
This one-dimensional version of someone, stripping out complexity, exaggerating flaws, refusing to acknowledge.
Maybe most of the people in these protests aren't racist. Well, I don't know, do I? But just saying I'm black and no one was mean to me isn't evidence of anything. Because they're not going to. They agree with you. Plenty of people will watch someone like me when they hate trans people because I say stuff they agree with. And like there's definitely racism going on in these groups and no one seems very fussed. There's a lot of extremist language, even the people that aren't racist.
Keir Starmer needs to be assassinated. Yeah.
But are still bloodthirsty as fuck and want to like sink the boats in the channel and stuff like that.
Nuance. They start to ask, what are they leaving out? Why are they leaving it out? What are they hiding? And then in that gap between the smear and the reality, Tommy Robinson and people like him are the blacklisted figures. They gain support. Again,
sure, but why is Tommy Robinson blacklisted? Just recently, he's been like lying. There's someone called Lauren Southern. This woman met him and Andrew Tate, and apparently they all went off to Romania together. And she claimed that Andrew Tate raped him.
I'm saying I saw her kissing him. Yeah? Then she messaged him the whole time. I was with her in the car. Then she went back out to Romania to see him again. That's what I'm saying.
You see, the only problem with that little tale, Tommy, is you took the story too far. If you just kept it to kind of things that couldn't really be proven, you might have gotten away with it too. But I happen to have travel documents that directly disprove this claim, 100%.
Yeah, so why would anyone think that Tommy Robinson was like dishonest or someone that shouldn't be listened to?
Yeah, not necessarily because people agree with everything that's being said, but because people resent being lied to, manipulated, and
yes, that is exactly why people hate Tommy Robinson. Thank you.
treated like children that can't make up their own minds. And there's a double standard here as always. Why?
At the same time, I do kind of get it. If you support Tommy Robinson and all anyone ever says to you is racist, 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 Nazi, 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 that isn't going to change your mind. That is just going to make you feel like you're being shamed.
Don't they ever talk about the far left? Why are they so fetishly...
Yeah, why does no one ever talk about the far left except for all the insane amounts of discourse about the far left and how violent they are right now? Apparently Steven Crowder is back. He's doing a Change My Mind video about the left being violent. I think there's probably plenty of people talking about the left right now.
Obsessed with the far right, as if that's the only threat or biggest threat that exists. The media never seems to apply the same labels in both directions. Tommy Robinson is
I guess we're talking more about in the UK. We don't really hear as much about the far left in the UK. But there's kind of a reason for that, and that's because the far left in the UK is useless. What would be in the news about the far left in the UK? Oh, the Your Party can't get its fucking shit together. They all fell out about Zara Sultana wanting to launch memberships. Wow, amazing. Like, the most you see of the far left is like Palestine protests and like trans protests and like, I don't know, man. Like, it's just, there's not much to it in this country. Like, the far left is not getting power anytime soon. The far right actually has a chance. The far left just isn't comparable. They're useless. They can't do shit. Let's do some fucking expose on the Green Party. Who cares about the Green Party? When was the last time they got more than like fucking 4 or 5 seats?
Instantly branded far-right extremists, white nationalists, but people on the other side, even those who openly glorify and celebrate and justify violence and murder.
Keir Starmer should have a fair trial, and then, once he's had a fair trial, it would be lawful execution.
They're just seen as activists.
I mean, this is fair enough. And I think there's a double standard. But I mean, how many times have people gone around saying sink the boats, implying that they just want to kill migrants in the channel? Like, it's fair enough to compare that kind of thing to like death to TERFs and shit like that.
Passionate activists, protesters, anti-racist campaigners for justice. And this double standard is exactly why so many conclude that Tommy Robinson and people like him, they must be saying something that the establishment doesn't want heard. And that sense...
What, like lies about people constantly?
Of double standards, of outright unfairness, it doesn't end with the media. It runs straight through our courts as well, our police system, political system. Tommy Robinson has become one of the most relentlessly pursued men in Britain. Whatever you think of him, you cannot deny the sheer scale of the effort that has gone into silencing him.
You mean like because he keeps breaking the law?
Bankrupting him, locking him up.
For breaking the law? He's broken the law a bunch of times. We're kind of glazing.
Only wish that half that effort had been directed at silencing Islamists.
Do you accept? I just want to be around my people and my culture as an acceptable argument. I actually do, because it's honest. If you're going to say, yeah, I just want to be around white British people as a white British person, then at least I can buy that you're being honest. I don't know what difference it makes. Like, I don't know. I guess I've been around people of all different colors, and all I can ever conclude is that you get good ones, you get bad ones of all kinds. But I mean, if that's really what you want to do, then fair enough. India Willoughby was all in favor of sinking boats to the channel. Well, India Willoughby's a fucking retard, so that doesn't surprise me, if that's true. I don't know if it is.
Maybe some of the terror attacks that have claimed dozens of lives and injured hundreds more in the last 10 years could have been prevented. Now, on that note, how many far-right terror attacks have there been in the last decade? How many...
Joe Cox is the one that springs to mind. Who was that guy, Jack something, that got caught plotting to kill a Labour MP? Jack Renshaw. Fuck me, man. This guy. He was in this Britain First Youth or whatever they're called. Not Britain First Youth. BNP Youth. There was this BNP Youth video that he was in.
Fellow British youth.
This is Jack Renshaw, by the way. This video is old as fuck. I mean, this commentary video is like 2014.
Who is responsible for the ongoing attempt to eradicate the British culture and the British identity through the forced assimilation of different cultures and different peoples with our culture and our people, resulting in the bastardisation of the genuine diversity that makes up the rich tapestry of humankind? Who is responsible for giving away our independence to the European Union, letting them pass our laws, control our borders and destroy our industries?
Yeah, what we should do is leave the EU, no longer have an agreement in place to turn away migrants because they've already been rejected from another EU country, and then just complain when shit tons of them start coming in. Great idea. You get the message. This Jack Renshaw guy had this plot to kill a MP called Rosie Cooper, like very open, avowed Nazi. What I think happened, like he was like talking about all these plans with all his like far right mates in the pub, and one of them decided they were uncomfortable with all this and reported it. And I'm pretty sure they found like CP, or like he was like grooming kids or something. Called for the genocide. Oh yeah. Grooming 2 underage boys online.
How many lives have been lost? The answer? Single digits. And the case they always...
I mean, single digits might be honest, but I mean, how much left-wing terrorism has there been where people have died, you know?
Point to is the murder of Joe Cox, which was a tragic case, absolutely. But beyond that, that's it.
That's not it, but okay.
Meanwhile, Islamic attacks have been responsible for mass casualty atrocities.
Islamic attacks have been worse, for sure. I'd certainly grant that. I think in almost any country where there's terrorism issues, the jihadists are the ones doing the most of the work.
On our soil. That's why the government should probably stop obsessing over the far right and start consistently focusing on the ideologies and networks that are actually taking lives, often in the most brutal...
Yeah, we don't ever hear about Islamic terrorism. Never happens.
...gruesome ways imaginable. Now, another reason people are drawn to Tommy Robinson and people like him is actually that the labels don't work anymore. You can call people...
Yeah. I have no interest really in calling Tommy Robinson like far right, I'll be honest. I think it's a bit cringe. I'd rather just call him like a fucking liar, to be honest. I think he's a fucking liar. It's much easier. There you go.
People far right, you can call them Nazis, call them fascists for liking who they like. It just doesn't carry the same sting it once did. These words have been so overused, so thrown around recklessly that the meaning has been drained out of them. Once upon a time, yes, being called a Nazi was about the most serious accusation you could level against someone. It carried moral weight, real weight. It was supposed to end the conversation. Now, you get called a Nazi for refusing to use someone's preferred pronoun. You get called...
I agree. It's thrown around an awful lot. It's been happening for a long time, though. It's just a kind of a normal thing. Someone's a bit too far right for your liking, you call them a Nazi. It's not like for me to agree with, but it's just kind of part of it. I'm sorry.
Fascists for supporting border control. You get called racist.
Supporting border control, fair enough. When you're talking about like sinking boats in the channel, it starts to sound a bit fascist. And a lot of these people really don't understand how like maritime law works, how it works when it comes to like, let's say a British vessel comes across some like struggling dinghy full of migrants. They are duty bound to rescue those people. They have to take those people to British shores. That's just how it is. And almost no one understands any of this shit. So like, I don't know, man. If someone is going around there wanting the UK to just violate fucking international laws left, right, and center, and like sink boats with migrants in them and not give a fuck how many of them die. Yeah, I don't know if it's that out there to call that person a fascist. I'm sorry.
For pretty much breathing now. And because of this, people have just stopped caring. The word racist has been stretched so thin that it covers almost everything. When everything is racist, nothing is. When everyone is...
She's right about like language creep. And we see that everywhere. Calling people like Nazi because they're a bit more conservative. Yeah, that's language creep. You're trying to make something out that's more serious than it is. You're like kind of stretching a concept to like breaking point. You know what I mean? Secure the hotels to stop migrants going out like a detention center. I don't know if I think that's a good idea personally. Like, are they more likely to like get stir crazy and like trash the place? Because some of them are there for like months and months on end, right? Like, I don't know. I think let them roam, but like the laws apply to them too, right? I don't know. I'm not big on like just completely infringing people's human rights because they came here illegally. I'm sorry, man.
Far right, the label stops working. People see the exaggeration. This
is basically true though. It works in a lot of different ways. It's the same when you call like anyone vaguely left a communist.
See the manipulation and they just detach themselves from that fear of being called names. The words no longer shame them, and this is why the tactic is backfiring. Keep calling Robinson's rallies fascist gatherings. No one cares. No one cares to be associated with those labels anymore because they just don't believe them anymore. In fact, for some...
Yeah, this is why you criticize Tommy Robinson on specific things and not just call him a blanket racist or Nazi. Absolutely.
It has the absolute opposite effect. If the media says that it's fascist, maybe that means it's worth checking out. And this is where that...
Yeah, forbidden fruit effect. But then, I don't know, just because the media calls it fascist, that doesn't mean assume that there's absolutely nothing possibly that could be fascist about this and just accept everything uncritically.
Sense of community comes in. People aren't just turning up to these rallies and gatherings just for the sake of it or for the spectacle. They go because he speaks to their genuine concerns, the things they talk about in private with their neighbors, their families, their mates down the pub, concerns that politicians refuse to address and that the media brushes aside. People have real concerns. That's just a fact. And one of them is Islamism, which is something Tommy Robinson...
What is the government going to do to address Islamism, like in concept? A multicultural country, they're not going to change that anytime soon. And you don't want them to, because that might affect you too.
Robinson speaks about and people are desperate to talk about without being shouted down. I personally saw this myself. I once spoke at a New Culture Forum locals event and I was there to talk about...
What's New Culture Forum? New Culture Forum, our history, our culture, our future. Help us defend our land and its people. Woke NHS. I didn't know about this. Generally, inbreeding is not good. Yeah, this is a rightoid thing. Fair enough. Listen, I'm just understanding what the thing is. I'm not, whatever.
I was there to talk about identity politics, diversity, all the cultural issues we spend so much time talking about. But when I got there, when it came to the questions from the audience after I gave my talk, the dominant concern wasn't pronouns or job quotas. It was Islam, and specifically the threat of Islamism. That's what people wanted to talk about. That's what they were worried about. Of course, they still cared about some of the DEI nonsense and political correctness, but those were almost secondary because while woke policies might cost you opportunities or make daily life more irritating.
I'm going to be honest. As much as like DEI is a thing you can agree or disagree with, I think it's very overblown the way people talk about it. Like in general, there are many, many mechanisms by which a person might get a job they're not really qualified for. You might get a job through nepotism. You might have pretty poor qualifications for the position, but you're the one that charmed them in the interview. I don't think there's nothing now when it comes to DEI, but it's been like way overhyped. And like the kind of stuff Charlie Kirk used to say about it was kind of emblematic of that, when it's like, well, why are you thinking that way in the first place? Like DEI doesn't need to exist for you to be like suspicious of like whether a black pilot is going to be good enough to fly the plane. Like there's so many ways in which you could think a white pilot might not be qualified to fly the plane, but you're specifically focusing on DEI. Probably because it's more politicizable.
Islamist extremism is a physical threat. It can cost lives, and people know it. People
suggested potential benefits. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Like, I kind of understand why the government isn't going after like first cousin marriage. But at the same time, if they're saying there's benefits, I don't know what benefits there are for like I know decently well the risks of like inbreeding, but like it's a bit crazy. I have to look into it more to be clear, but
people remember the grooming gang scandals. They remember Manchester bombing. They remember the teacher in Batley who had to go into hiding for showing a cartoon in a classroom. These are not abstract issues. They're real, concrete, immediate threats that families think about every day. And these people will gravitate to people who they feel are leading the conversations in this area. And the funny thing is, a lot of this far-right messaging is just common sense, basic things that most people want.
You know, politics is pretty simple. It's low taxes, keep us safe, keep us out of wars, no crime.
Low taxes in countries where the birth rate is abysmal, not a great idea.
Stop the crime, and in your case, a big immigration component.
Safe streets.
Yeah, it's easy to say all this kind of shit.
Fairness, good economic opportunities. So if this is the far right position, what do the far left want? I mean, we all know what they want, but why would any sane person want the opposite of that? So at the heart of it,
Well, far left people don't want the opposite of that. They want like way more equality, like wealth equality, stuff like that. The far left gets kind of like typecast. Like some of the woke stuff and some of the intersectional kind of stuff kind of doesn't gel very well with like far leftism. Like you think about communism and you think about how it's about like the many, not the few. It's about the collective. And then you think about like queer theory and like intersectionality. A lot of it is like individualist as fuck. So I don't know. The other thing is the far left is a bit harder to pin down because most of them don't agree with each other. And that's why there's no like good far left movements in the UK, because none of them can agree on anything. Whereas the right are better at like uniting.
people just want to love their country. They want to feel safe in it, proud of it, and free to defend it against anything that threatens it. For years, even saying that has been treated with suspicion, as if patriotism itself is a problem. People have been told that loving the country is backwards, that national pride is dangerous, that if you want to protect your culture and your community, you must be motivated by hate. But that isn't true. Ordinary people know it's not true. And this is why figures like Tommy Robinson have the pull they do, whether you like it or not. Because for...
Yeah, don't worry about him like lying about people being raped and defending his good friend Andrew Tate. It's interesting how anti-Islam he is, but he'll defend like a Muslim rapist. Like, it's interesting where he breaks with that kind of trend, you know what I mean?
Better or worse, they make it okay to say again out loud, I love this country, I don't want it torn apart. They take something natural and human.
I'd be amazed. Listen, you get people that will take anything as like some kind of admission of being a Nazi, and that's retarded. I'd be amazed if that many people are honestly upset by a British person saying, I love my country.
Human, the instinct to protect what is yours, and they put it back on the table after years of being told it was forbidden or mocked and dismissed by leftist politicians. So that's why many listen and turn up, because no smear, no label, no headline can...
Yeah, so it sounds to me like an overcorrection or an overreaction. Oh, well, you don't like this? You're saying this thing I don't like? Well, then I'm going to go to the extreme opposite side.
Compete with the most powerful force of all, people who refuse to be shamed, who refuse to be silenced about their love for it, and who are determined to defend it no matter what names they are called.